Hey guys, let's get more news about Dallas, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Howard, how Seahawks are already emphasizing the run game. The Seattle Seahawks' sputtering rushing attack was a major problem this past season. With a slew of recent coaching staff additions, they've already invested major resources in trying to fix it. Analyst, how wild-card Seahawks could surprise with first-round pick. Most notably, they hired Clint Kubiak to replace previous offensive coordinator Ryan Grubb. Kubiak hails from the Shanahan coaching tree, which places an emphasis on running the football with a wide zone blocking scheme, but the Seahawks didn't stop there. They also have added 5 new offensive coaches to Kubiak's staff, including John Becton as offensive line coach, Rick Dennison as their run game coordinator/senior offensive advisor, and Justin Outen as their run game specialist/assistant offensive line coach. Becton, Dennison, and Outen bring a combined 57 years of NFL coaching experience, most of which has been centered on the O-line. And those 2 positions that include run game in their title? That's 2 more than the Seahawks had on their staff this past season. During Wednesday's Blue 88 segment on Seattle Sports' Brock and Sock, former NFL quarterback Brock Howard gushed at the clear investment the Seahawks are taking to shore up a rushing attack that ranked 28th in the league this past season. "Holy smokes," Howard said. "You want to talk about spending and resources and capital and manpower all to fix a run game? They're throwing a whole bunch of people at it." Becton has spent 19 of his 20 years in the NFL as an O-line coach. Dennison adds another 28 years of NFL coaching experience, including 10 as an offensive coordinator, 7 as an O-line coach and 2 more as an O-line coach/run game coordinator. Outen, a former starting center at Syracuse, has held a variety of roles over his 9 years as an NFL coach, including 1 season as an offensive coordinator, 2 stints as a tight ends coach and 1 season as a run game coordinator. "Put your money where your mouth is," Howard said approvingly of the Seahawks coaching additions. "If you say you want to have a good run game, then you're gonna hire an O-line coach, and you're gonna hire an O-line assistant coach, and then you're gonna hire a run game specialist and then a run game coordinator. They speak the same language. Something that stands out is there is a strong degree of familiarity among the new hires. For one, Kubiak had both Dennison and Becton on his staff this past season when he was the New Orleans Saints offensive coordinator. But the ties go far deeper. Dennison spent 19 seasons working under Clint's father, Gary Kubiak, the latter of whom worked alongside 2-time Super Bowl-winning Denver Broncos head coach Mike Shanahan during the rise of the famed Shanahan scheme. More recently, Dennison has spent 5 seasons working alongside Clint Kubiak. Becton also worked under Gary Kubiak for 8 seasons, including 4 seasons that overlapped with Dennison. In addition, Becton spent 4 seasons working under San Francisco 49ers head coach Kyle Shanahan, who is Mike Shanahan's son. They all speak the same language, Howard said. "There's not gonna be, hey, let's spend a month here so you can learn my terminology. These guys all know this book really well. They know this game plan very well. They know the intricacies and the details of it." Listen to the full Blue 88 segment at this link or in the audio player near the middle of this story. Tune into Brock and Sock weekdays from 6 to 10 a.m. or find the podcast on the Seattle Sports app. Gennaro Phillips 2025 NFL Mock Draft 1.0, Jets jump Raiders for Shedeur Sanders, Broncos trade up for T on the verge of a major pre-draft set piece, the NFL Scouting Combine, questions about the 2025 NFL Draft begin, well, at the beginning. And per usual, they revolve around the quarterbacks. Namely, Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders. Will everyone's top 2 signal callers both fly off the board in the first handful of picks? Will one? Will none? With so many QB-needy teams lurking, it's hard to see either Ward or Sanders making it out of the top 10, at least at this juncture of draft season. The coming week in Indianapolis is sure to shake up the prospect pool in myriad ways, but in the calm before the spandex storm, here is my initial vision of how round 1 will play out. Talk about upward mobility. Ward's gone from Incarnate Word to Washington State to Miami to number 1 overall? Seems quite feasible, whether or not Tennessee is the team making the pick. The well-traveled 22-year-old offers extensive experience, 57 collegiate starts, and the best quarterbacking tools in this class, most notably, a rocket that's functional from various platforms/arm angles. The question with Ward, is he too reliant on hero ball to consistently function in the confines of an NFL offense? If Cleveland honors Myles Garrett's trade request, this is the replacement. If Garrett and the Browns patch things up, this is the sidekick. Personally, I hope it's the latter, because it'd be indisputably fun to pair the freakiest edge in this draft class with the freakiest edge in football. In the hypothetical world of this mock draft, Joe Schoen and Brian Daboll address the quarterback position in the veteran market, allowing New York to take the two-way star out of Colorado. In the real world, longtime beat writer Paul Schwartz says the Giants see Hunter as a cornerback, allowing me to say I'm filling a major need with this pick, while also knowing Daboll wouldn't be able to resist giving the Heisman Trophy winner offensive snaps alongside Malik Neighbors. Drake May showed great potential last season in spite of a porous offensive line. Giving the new face of the franchise better protection feels like an absolute necessity. Campbell's arm length will be a measurement of interest at the combine, with some viewing him as a better pro prospect at guard. Our resident scouts don't see it that way, though, as Daniel Jeremiah touts the tackle as his number 8 overall prospect and Bucky Brooks calls him the crown jewel of an intriguing OT class. Worst-case scenario, Campbell shifts inside, where New England's thin to begin with. In the wake of the Aaron Rodgers era error, the Jets have a talented roster without a quarterback. At the moment, the free agent crop at the position is headlined by Sam Darnold. Don't think a Darnold-Jets reunion is on the table, so Gangrene leapfrogs the QB-needy Raiders to snag a signal caller who certainly wouldn't shy away from the bright lights of Broadway. New York tabloids rejoice. After watching the Jets vault right over them to secure Shedeur Sanders' services, the Raiders shift from passer to pass catcher, landing the big-bodied target who appears to be separating himself from the rest of this WR class. Las Vegas is obviously set at tight end with the highly drafted duo of Brock Bowers and Michael Mayer, but the receiver room is headlined by Jacoby Myers and Trey Tucker. NFL Draft Prospect Profile. An interview with Minnesota edge rusher jaw joiner Alexander Castro joined Field Gulls in June 2024. Based in Brazil, he is Field Gulls' lead Seahawks analyst who's also responsible for college football coverage, draft prospect analysis, film breakdowns, and articles related to football tactics. Continuing our series of pre-NFL draft interviews, Field Gulls had the opportunity to interview Jaw Joyner, a standout edge rusher from the University of Minnesota. Previously, we interviewed Jackson Slater, an interior offensive lineman from Sacramento State who had twice interviewed with the Seattle Seahawks. Who is Jaw Joyner? From Senior Bowl measurements. Height, 6 feet 4 inches. Weight, 263 pounds. Hand size, 9 inch. Arm length, 34 1/8. Wingspan, 81 5/8. Joyner was a 4-star recruit as an edge and initially committed to Boston College as a member of the 2020 recruiting class before decommitting and changing his intention to play for Minnesota. He saw no action during the COVID-19 season, maintaining 4 years of eligibility before sitting out 2021 after seeing action in just 4 games. This made Joyner a third-year freshman with the program in 2022, when he broke through and played in 13 games for the Gophers. Joyner recorded his first career start in 2023, the only game he started that season, and otherwise had 7.5 sacks total. In 2024, Joyner stepped into a full-time starting role as a fifth-year junior and started all 12 games he played for Minnesota, recording 4.5 sacks. He ended up foregoing 1 final year of eligibility and accepting an invitation to the 2025 Reese's Senior Bowl. And are you a fan? What do you think of the Mekhi Becton situation? Leave your opinion in the comments.